Hey, welcome to another episode of the DTC Insider podcast. I'm Roisentul, your host, and today we have a very fun and interesting interview with Anthony Ciavirella. He's the founder at Manmade. Along with his three friends and co-founders, they left the financial industry to pursue a problem they all had: terrible underwear. From underwear, socks, t-shirts, and soap, their mission is to provide men with quality essentials men need. Without the BS, they don't. Before talking to him, let me tell you that this episode is brought to you by BSR Digital. By now, I'm sure most of you know that customer acquisition costs are going up. There's lack of tracking and attribution is probably driving you nuts. And audience sizes are getting smaller and smaller after the iOS 14 update. If that wasn't enough, there are other factors such as the recession and supply chain issues, making it harder than ever to grow your e-commerce brand. That's why we need to understand that it's really important to level up the marketing and design a solid strategy, as what used to work doesn't anymore. Here at BSR Digital, we have been helping countless e-commerce brands that wanted to scale their business to the next level through paid ads and email marketing for over a decade. If you want to learn more about us, visit bsrdigital.com, and you can also email us at hello@bsrdigital.com. Now, as promised, I have Anthony here with me. Hey, man, thanks for being on the show.
Hey, Brian, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. So I would love for you to tell the audience more about you, your background, and your story.
Sure. My name is Anthony. I'm one of four co-founders of Manmade, a men's essentials brand, providing men with quality essentials they need without the BS that they don't. Our staple product is the boxer brief, and then we branched out to t-shirts, socks, and soap. We're four best friends. Some of us have known each other since elementary school. We all were in finance before starting Manmade. Who was a banker, who was in real estate, who was an accountant, and who was in investments. And we basically decided to leave the financial industry to pursue the problem of terrible underwear. We all had a common problem. We all hated our current underwear. We had a conversation up at a cabin here up north in Montreal, in Quebec, and we just decided to pursue that and to see if we can fix that problem. It took 10 months to actually come out with the perfect boxer brief. We had no experience, absolutely zero. No one came from the fashion world, but we did with anybody would do. We researched, explored, tested, failed, and eventually, after 10 months, we finally came up with the perfect boxer brief. When we put it on, we knew we had a winning product, and we went to market as of August 30th, 2021.
Nice. So please tell me more about it, because I would love to know the details of, how do you come up with the idea? I mean, were you guys having dinner, the four of you, and say, hey, let's solve this problem? Or how did you guys start thinking about it?
For sure. Look, we were all in finance, living the grind, right? The daily grind, the 9 to 5 grind. And we all knew that we had an entrepreneurial itch, right? So we've known each other for a very long time. We always kept in contact. We not only kept in contact, we had a pulse in each other's lives, like I like to say. And we knew that, we weren't going to probably continue in the 9 to 5 path, but we didn't know what and how, right? We would get out of that, the careers, and we're only getting older. So it came to a point where we all decided to start working on side projects together, learning, about certain things, like marketing or using Facebook as an advertising platform. And one thing led to the next, and we decided to rent a cabin, like I had said earlier, up north. And we said to ourselves, okay, we're going to go up north for 3 days, and we're just going to grind with the whiteboards and the laptops and just come up with different ideas as to what we can do together because we knew we would be, we wanted to do a business together. We said we have, we all have complementing attributes, and we feel like together we can do something great. So we said, okay, let's put the whiteboard up, start listing different ideas, brainstorming, learning about direct-to-consumer brands, different direct-to-consumer brands, what's working, what's not working. And the same problem, I remember it was a summer day, it was humid, it was hot, and we all, was complaining about the writing up, the bunching of the underwear, how it made them feel trapped and heated, not comfortable. And we went for a walk, I remember, and I started to chafe, and I was like, this is horrible. And the eureka moment happened on that trip where we're like, hey, what about underwear? And then we all like, okay, let's look into it a little bit more. And we became really passionate about the fabrics and the cuts and the designs. And we decided to say, you know what, let's really give it a go. So like I said, 10 months of researching, different fabrics, what makes it different, what is good for, a men's underwear, what doesn't cause chafing, the design. It was a lot of research and development and learning. I remember ordering hundreds of different boxers and trying them on and seeing why we don't like, or what the boxes are made of, and the designs, the different types of bands, waistbands. 10 months after, we finally came up with the perfect boxer brief, and it wasn't easy. We had to shortlist different manufacturers that we had reached out to see who would make the best stitch and who would use the best yarn, and understood us, or was easy to communicate with, or easier to communicate with, because there was a bit of a barrier for different manufacturers. And we decided to go with the best cut and sewers, and the best sourcers of fabric, and ethical manufacturers that are RAP certified, which is a world responsible accredited programming that makes sure that there's social responsible working environments. And we're very happy to say that we've been working with the same manufacturer from day one, and they are amazing. And we're actually going to be going to Sri Lanka at the end of April to visit the manufacturer for the very first time.
Nice story, man. So
thanks.
I'm also curious about your go-to-market strategy, since this is, the same happens with many industries, but in this one in particular, I can think of many big players in the space, right? So how did you guys approach it to stand out from those big fish?
That's a good question. So that was something that we were really we honed, we sat in a room multiple times brainstorming how we would do it. And the more we spoke about it and the more we tried to perfect the craft, the more we delayed the process. So what we said was, at first, what we said was we needed to make sure that the brand had an identity, right? So we did work very closely with someone that we've known since high school. Some of us, Roberto, knew Juju Branding is his name, so shout out to Juju Branding from high school. And he's a fantastic graphic designer, and he works closely with Frankie Margota, who's a brand strategist. And we had during COVID, multiple calls, multiple meetings, multiple Zoom calls, and really if you were to close your eyes, who is your customer? How would he look? What's the brand values? What's the visible or non-visible brand values? What do you stand for? Who are you speaking to? The colors, the logo, the meaning behind the brand. And a lot of that was pre-established before we even launched. So when we launched, we knew what direction or what picture we wanted to paint, and it was easy for us because it was within, right? It's who we are as people, who we are, what we want to create for the future, and what we want to build for men. And we just decided to be ourselves, genuine, forthcoming, and really speak from the truth, from the heart. And that's exactly what we try to do every single day. when it came to when we launched, we had models that we hired. Our first photo shoot was, that's another story, but we had models and we weren't forthcoming. We had our story out there, but if you go on our website now, the hero shot is us four. But when we started, we used a lot of models, especially on Instagram. If you scroll all the way to the beginning, we used to use models, but we soon came to the realization that people, our community, was interested in our story, interested of what four guys quit their careers to do, right? And when they tried the product, because the story was interesting, the product spoke for itself and it created a buzz. And then we just owned that, right? So we went, we call it the full right movement. We went fully like, we're the models, we're really front and forward. You're dealing with the co-founders. Here we are, and ever since we've done that, it really set us apart with the market that we're competing in. And obviously, you know, things like customer experience. That's something that we really took to the next level, and we want to continue taking to the next level so that, you know, our customer, our community, people that we're speaking to give us a shot, and we're able to show them that we appreciate what they, you know, the shot that they gave us.
Yeah, I mean, from the last conversation we had, and also from what I was able to see online about you guys, you check many boxes that many brands probably don't pay attention to, that are key to success, as we have discussed many times here in the podcast. For example, one you mentioned is the unique value propositions, or the core values of a company. Defining them is key for, you know, knowing where you're heading, who to talk to, who you want as a customer or as a team member, and who you don't want, right? And you mentioned many other things that are relevant, as well as, you know, regularly talking to your customers and being authentic or genuine, as you said, and showing your story to your audience, and being in the hero section of your website as well, as you said. So that's pretty cool. So I wanted to ask you, you know, why do you think that defining UVPs or the core values helped you specifically? Did you find it useful in many cases in practice and not only in the theory?
Well, there's the way you communicate with your customer, right? So you need to have a structure when it comes to communicating, and a character. A lot of the big corporations we're competing against are just faceless monsters, and that's what we left, right? Which was those big corporations that treated you like a number. When someone feels appreciated and feels like there's a human being on the other side taking care of them, it'll make the full difference. And that's why we, you know, write a handwritten card with every single order. That's why we'll answer all the DMs within the same day, and it's the co-founders that are doing it. That's why you can text us. That's why you can email us, and we'll respond to within hours, like sometimes minutes. And it's not because we don't have the volume. It's probably because we don't have the volume the big corporations do, but we plan on keeping that the whole way through in terms of the business we want to create, the business that we want to build. We like to scale the unscalables. And I think that's something that sets us apart. I think that's something that's for sure needed. And definitely, like, we're four partners, right? So to answer your question, Brian, like, if you're four, if you don't have a clear game plan and North Star of your company and your brand, well, then, you know, you're not going to have some, you know, we won't be what's the expression? We won't be walking at the beat of the same drum, right? And it's hard to have any team, even in sports, not having a clear understanding of, you know, who's responsible for what and how we're going to get there and how we're going to do it and who are we as a brand, right? So I think that's something that we do very well, and I think that's what's contributed to, you know, the voice of the brand, and also internally the voice of the team, the North Star, like I said earlier. You know, just to add, like, things can change. I'm not going to say day 1 to 19 months later we're doing things exactly the same, but fundamentally, like the core, the foundation, yes, they're the same. But things have tweaked. Like we've learned things throughout the process. We've had an ear to the ground, communicating with customers throughout the process. We've evolved in terms of our products. Even our products, every single year, we try to make them a little bit better, a little bit better. We obsess over quality, right? That's why we only offer our products in one or two colors at most, because of that, and that allows us to do that. And yeah, it's very important. A lot of brands don't do that, but if you don't know your identity as a brand, how do you want someone else to know your identity as a brand?
Yeah,
So I'll leave you with that.
that's true. But many brands don't do it, right? Because they think,
Yeah.
oh, I'm so busy, with this, I don't know, Black Friday deal sale, or I'm so busy putting together whatever. I don't have time for my core values right now. Like they postpone it, but they don't see that they are missing out on some big things.
Well, there's a difference, and I'm going to add, Brian, there's a difference between building a brand, I believe, building a real brand fundamentally, a real brand with enterprise value and a brand equity, than running direct to consumer, but in a way where it's direct response. It's just basically a sale. You're just looking for the sale and trying to squeeze the sale, and really focusing on AOV, and focusing on sales rather than focusing on a brand. And I think running a brand doesn't mean you need to lose money. I definitely believe that you need to be smart, but and you need to be making profit for sure. That's how brands stay alive and grow. But definitely there's two sides of the coin, right? It's, are you building a brand, or are you direct response? Like just trying to get the sale with little things like the little ticker, the time ticker, or like or 2 in stock. Is it really 2 in stock, or you're just trying to make a sale, and trying to speed this 299? Like, I have nothing against it, but if you'll notice, we'll never do that. There's nothing on our site that is like 99 cents. We'll never have like a ticker that's like gonna make you feel like, oh, you have to pull the trigger on the click buy now. Like it's not, we don't do that. We definitely like CRO, like, to better conversions, definitely. It's very, very, very cutthroat out there. The marketing dollar needs to bring you, especially as a startup, far along. However, the way we're trying to build a business is also through brand equity and what we stand for, and easiness and simplicity, like brand values, back to the brand values. We always try to keep it there. And that's what allowed us to do all this type of thinking, because that meetings that took time to build that brand value now makes our meetings much quicker when making decisions, because we know exactly where we're headed, or what we want to do, or how we want to stand out, or what's our thing, what's our it factor.
I think it's the difference between a sprint and a marathon, right? When you're running a marathon, you need to plan ahead many other things. And when you're running a sprint, you don't. It's both are hard, but one lasts what it lasts, and the other one, it's way longer, and you need to know many things, etc. But so a few things that I wanted to highlight for the audience, many brand, we have been discussing many topics about acquisition and retention here, and what we have discussed many times with founders like you is that most brands that we talk to, and we know and they know to lack the, let's say, the after the purchase part, the retention, the customer happiness. And you said it like something natural because you have that in you, but it's not natural for many brands to call their customers, to answer DMs, to answer emails properly, right? To send them postcards. So could you please tell me more about that? Why do you think that's important besides the obvious, right? And how do you pull it off? I mean, what do you use to send postcards? Because you don't just, based on what I know, send those notes, right? You do in a personalized way, right?
Yeah, every post, every handwritten card with all our orders are different, like first time order, second time, third, fourth, fifth. And on the third order, for example, there's a gift with purchase. But I'll start off by saying, definitely, like, we're in the retention business. For us, like I said, we're trying to build a brand. So the way we see it is that marketing is not cheap. Marketing is it's a challenge. We do it internally, and we try to we do calculate return on ad spend for sure. But the thing is what's important is what's your return rate, what's the LTV of the customer, how long does it take before they come back. All that is taken into account, and the way that we focus on that at the beginning, or the way a brand focuses on that on the beginning of the relationship with the customer, I believe, or we believe, is going to bring you that fruit of your labor later on and increase your LTV and actually have a business that, you know, is more than just a quick sale. It's loyalty. It's like you're becoming a household brand. It's something that that has a culture. It has a spirit. So what do? Like when it comes to, or let's start off by saying the way we see it too is like, because we're spending, you know, a pretty significant budget on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and all these ads. The thing is that anybody who interacts with us, that costed something, you know, making the videos organically, the ads, the impressions, wherever you heard of us, because we're direct to consumer. I mean, you had to hear from us online, and that took work, either hard dollars being pumped into an advertising machine, or the work it took to make the video and the time it takes to conceptualize the content is work, right? So everybody that reaches out to us on a positive, most of the time, but even on a negative basis, the way we see it is we have to be grateful, because what we do with that will bring fruit to the labor. So that's the first part. So, you know, being online, being present, having a social, it's called social media for a reason. We've heard that a million times. But even on the ad side, like anybody who communicates with us, we try to answer all our comments. Anybody who DMs us, we answer. Like, we're consistently, all four of us are the only ones that do it, but because we're four, we're always on it, right? Like, and I'll take the lead, for example. I'll make sure all the comments are answered to. I make sure all DMs are done. I make sure that it's personalized. If somebody asks a question and maybe we don't have time to type it, a quick 15-second video responding to the person's question. That person came in from either SEO, a Facebook ad, heard us on the radio, saw us on TikTok, whatever it is. It costed something. You know, somebody doesn't come to you, just it's an impression. There's a cost associated to that, and we need to respect that. And I think it's not a waste of time because of that. Definitely not a waste of time. And for us, it's second nature. Now, when we have the customer, there's where now the customer purchased, and now we're super grateful, and we want to make sure that they know that, and it transcends in all the actions that we do. So you get obviously a confirmation email, and we also built a Manmade concierge text messaging platform that they receive the text message from Manmade concierge saying, welcome to the Manmade family. And here's our number in case you need to contact us and you don't want to email us or call us or DM us, you can text us as well. So it's another way of communicating with the brand that makes it easier, more convenient for the customer. Now we get the order. We know, because we've put processes in place that is all automated, when it's the customer's first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and their LTV. So their packing slip, when it gets printed, we'll know if it's the first order, second, third, fourth, fifth, or how many orders they've done, and what's the lifetime value of that customer that they've done with us. And by knowing that, we're able to set aside, you know, who our VIP customers are. For example, if the LTV is over 500 or 400, or if, you know, there's 6th or 7th order with us, and even though it's less than 600, we're able to go ahead and give them a call. And that's what I do to add to that, right? So where was I with that? So for us, it's one of those things that we make sure that the customer is delighted. So when we know that information, the first time buyer will get welcome to the Manmade family, for example, as a handwritten card, you know, and the second time if you buy a second, welcome back. And the third time, here's a little gift with your purchase, a product that maybe they haven't tried yet, for example, our soap bar. And then the fourth time, it's a customized note, but like if you're writing a fourth and fifth and it's customizable, that customer is loyal to you. So we think like that customer deserves wholeheartedly my time, even for 2, 4, 5, 10 minutes to write a card because we appreciate the customer and we want to show that. So all cards are handwritten and sent and always meaningful to the order that they've ordered with us, right? So first or fourth, first, third, fifth, whatever amount of orders they've done with us, it's customized. Then a couple of weeks later, they get an email from us, right? And that email is asking them what they think about our products, and we want to know. And we read every one of those emails, and our open rate is really good, right? It's actually fantastic on those emails. And the feedback that we receive is also great, and it's a testament to where the consumer heart is, our customer's heart. Where is it? A lot of them, it's for it's good feedback, it's positive. If there's something that they want to see different, a new product, whatever it is, but there's a good engagement on that. And when they make an order, they get a confirmation email, they get preparing your package email, they get your package has been shipped out, it's in transit and delivered. So they love that transition, right? It's exciting to receive your package. We make it exciting to receive the package, and it's all branded emails. That open rates are really good. It really improves our score on Klaviyo, and it really makes it about them. It's not about us. We're not selling anymore at this point. We really want to be able to do what we call the jab, which is basically, you give to the consumer, you give to your customer, you give them value, so that if ever you do ask for something, well, then it's worth their attention because you've done more for them than they have done for you. Is another philosophy of ours. But then when the customer receives it, like I said, 3-4 weeks later, they receive a personalized email from one of the co-founders. Generally, it's myself. And then to add to that, like I said earlier, because we're able to see if what's the amount of orders you've done with us and the lifetime value, we do everything internally in terms of pick and packing and fulfilling the orders. So we've set aside, we manually write order numbers of really top customers, and Frankie, who's currently taking care of our fulfillment, puts it aside every single day, and he lets me know. And then a couple times a week, I take about a half an hour to an hour, sometimes 2 hours, to call our customers and to say thank you, to genuinely call them and say thank you so much, really appreciate it. We appreciate everything you've done. And as a little thank you for that, I just want to say we're coming out with our blue boxer brief in August, but we are going to be receiving our top 100 units that we're producing, and we're going to we're going to send you, we're going to send you one on us, so you could be the first one to ever have the blue boxer brief. Like, that's something that's powerful for many reasons. One, you're really showing your appreciation, and it's good karma. It's good business karma, right? And the second thing is that guy or that girl or that guy, that woman is going to talk about that at the next barbecue, is going to talk about that at the next hockey game, when they're having their beers at the end of the game. They're going to talk about, my underwear brand, the underwear brand Manmade, this is what happened. And that's word of mouth and that word of mouth marketing is priceless. There's no CPA attached to it. There's no, that's priceless. It's trust. It is established trust. And now you're building a real brand. Now you're building something that you're creating what I like to call is big little legends. Big little legends, right? You're becoming there's a book that's actually called Big Little Legends that I just finished reading, but you're creating a spirit of your brand, something that helps you stand out. So I went on a little bit of a tangent. I gave you maybe more than what you asked for, but I gave you more or less the execution part and what we do to retain our customers and to have customers come back and be loyal and be real Manmade, part of the Manmade family, as we call it.
Thank you. I mean, if you are a marketer or a brand, owner, director, this is a masterclass and I really mean that, because we have discussed many of these topics separately throughout the history of the show, but talking about it is one thing. talking to a brand that is actually implementing and putting these into action, because talking is easy. I myself can talk about many things, but putting that into action, that's a totally different thing. And these guys right here are putting this into action. And we all marketers and brand owners or directors should learn from them, because again, it's not easy. It takes time. It takes a lot of effort, but it's worth it, because if you are a marketer, what we talk about in the agency all the time is that in this era of digital marketing, we need to probably keep looking at the ad accounts, of course, right? But things are, the real action is not there as it used to a few years ago. And the same happens for brands. We can spend hours and hours talking about the tactics, let's say between quotes, the tricks. We can talk about CRO, we can talk about improving the website or improving the ads, but again, the same that happens with media buying. The action, although we need to keep attention, the action is not there. You need to get real, right? As you're saying now, Anthony, we need to get real as brands and pay attention to what the customers want. They want real products. They want to receive them on time. They want the quality to be as the brand promises, and they want great customer support. They want great customer service, right? So in this case, when you adding on, I'm thinking about all the episodes we recorded, and I'm going to add them to the show notes later, because again, it checks all the boxes. We discussed with a former Disney executive about creating wow experiences for customers and team members. And basically, in a nutshell, it was mapping out the customer journey and add differentiators that will make them smile or remember you. And that's exactly what you're doing, right? So that's awesome. And that's why I honestly think this is a masterclass. And again, congratulations, because you're doing an awesome job.
Thank you, Brian. And I just want to add, like, it's not an easy task, and being four is definitely something that makes it a lot easier, and it makes it makes it easy. It's still hard, but it makes it easier because you're four and we trust each other. And like I said, we all have complementary skill sets. However, like, it doesn't mean that we don't look at also if we're profitable on the first customer, because like I said, on a business standpoint, you still want to run a business and have enough equity to reinvest in your business to grow your brand. So that means we do look at things like, average order value on first order. Like now we're testing, for example, free shipping. Like our AOV fell, but our return rate is good. LTV seems nice, so it balances out in terms of profitability. But the thing is that you need to, every single day we have a Robert, one of the co-founders. He has a spreadsheet where he calculates, new customers, average order value, what did it cost to ship, what did it cost the cost of goods, and then you have your gross margin, and then from your gross margin you can see if it's making sense, right? So the thing is like, okay, if it's making sense, great, scale the budgets. If not, we have to find other creative ways to make sure that it does make sense, because that's what makes the difference at the end of the month. Yes, what I'm saying does create returning customers. And I would have to say, for example, in the month of March, right now, we're in 2023, it's probably one of the months where Facebook has been a pain in the ass, right? It's been expensive, and it's one of those things where the market is what the market is. You can blame it on spring break. Consumers are in a spending mood. They're fed up of winter. It's transitionary. Now we have Father's Day around the corner for sure, but March is still a month on the financials. So you need to make it work. And so is April, and so is May, and all the months, right? Being in apparel, being in my line of work, what we do, the holidays is all where it's at, right? So the holidays, Q4 is playoffs, right? It's playoffs, and that's where the magic happens. But up until then, we're in training, right? We need to make sure that everything makes sense. When we first started, it was challenging, but we did find that creating trust online is a huge it's a huge helping point, because you can run all the ads you want to run, and you need to be enticing, and it needs to be solving a problem, it needs to be well delivered. But if you have trust established online, that's where it gets interesting, because that's where someone has either seen you on a newspaper, a news article, an interview, Dragon's Den, Shark Tank, anywhere, right? And that's where one of the impressions were. And then because they Googled you, then all of a sudden they're getting ads about you. It takes about 5 to 7 impressions before someone actually makes a purchase, is I think the stat. So it's hard work, right? You got to do things on the organic side. You got to be relevant on organic. You got to be relevant on paid ads. And being 4 definitely helps, because you can actually do things 4 times as fast, as long as we all have the same North Star. Because if we didn't, it would be going 4 times slower, because we'd be arguing about what ads to put, what voice to use, what colors to use. It'll always be a constant battle, but it's not, because we make sure to establish these at the beginning, and we have set roles within the brand, within the co-founders, and we're all beating at the same drum, and it's making sense. And if there's ever a crisis, which there has been, we work it out together, right? We treat it like we treat it very, very seriously. Our brand, it's our livelihood, and we really do take into heart and to consider. We really have this mission of honestly taking on the big corporations by building a brand that men need and deserve. That's something that we have at the core. When you walk into our office, you open the door, we have it written right in front of you. And then if you go to the water cooler, at the top of the water cooler, it's written there again. All 4 corners of the office, it's always in your face. It's something that we consistently remind ourselves and condition ourselves and position ourselves, because we don't take it for granted. We know things like inflation, recession, competitors, TikTok might be banned in the US, and there's so many things that can happen, right? So you need to constantly be level-headed, not get too excited and too happy when things are good, and not get too down on yourself when things are bad, right? So yeah, being 4 helps, and having the right mindset helps, and having a North Star that everybody is on, and a clear path is definitely helpful, and has been, the core reasons for why Manmade has been experiencing month-over-month growth, and continuing to build.
That's awesome. So Anthony, I wanted to thank you for your time today. You delivered a lot of value. You went beyond even my expectations, and I hope the audience enjoyed the conversation as much as I did. But before we go, I wanted to ask you something I ask everyone that comes on the show, which is, if you have, you mentioned one already, but if you have the same or any other favorite book that you read, I will put together the same thing that we did last year. I will put together a list of books mentioned on the show by the end of the year. So I would love yours to be on the list as well.
Yeah, so that book that I mentioned earlier, Big Little Legends by Gare Maxwell, is a great book. I just read it right after the holidays. It's a fantastic book, and if you like marketing and you like brands and you like that, definitely it's a book to read. But the book that I believe changed my life in my 20s, in my early 20s, is a book called the Compound Effect by the Compound Effect.
Oh, okay.
Compound Effect, yeah, the Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. It's a simple read. It's a good read, and it really explains. And I need to read it again every couple of years. I read it again, but it also is a book that I myself and the people that I've gifted this book to. It's like those books that it's a book that we gift as paying it forward. Like, someone gifted me the book, and I read it, and it really changed my life. And then I said, I want someone else to experience the same thing. So we bought a bunch of copies, and we've been handing them out to people that either are looking for inspiration or are trying to figure things out in their life. And it's something that we feel strongly about and that I really love. And it's a really good book. So I suggest anybody who hasn't read it yet to definitely give it a read, because it's puts things in perspective. How obviously the compound effect, little things, little micro decisions, little things, they become macro wins. So definitely something I would suggest.
Well, I'm sold. I'll buy it right now. Now I need to read it as well, so I'll let you know later. So again, thank you for being here. Please tell the audience where they can go to learn more about you and the company.
For sure. So we have Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn. If you Google Manmade, you'll find all those handles. Or if you go on our website, which is manmadebrand.com, you can scroll to the bottom of the page, and we have all our socials there. But yeah, our website is manmadebrand.com. You have all that information you need right in there.
As always, you guys listening or watching, you will be able to find the show notes and everything he mentioned on the DTCinsider.com. So thank you again, Anthony. You've been great. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you. I appreciate being here, Brian. Have a good day.
You too.